The next topic here is atomic energy, and atomic energy is important in the 1950s because of the role it could play in providing power for a city or the destruction of a city through a nuclear bomb. How do we know this was very important for the 1950s? The fact that they actually made this toy here, which is considered one of the most dangerous toys, should say a lot about the time period and what they were looking for and what was important. The Atomic Energy Lab, the Gilbert U-238. Nice. What a great gift for somebody. Anyway, let's move on. So then this diagram, just trying to get you to think a little bit about how this process works here. Notice the role of water. Notice that it's being heated up, creating steam, turning of these turbines, generating electricity over here. I want you to think about these items, which are these rods. These rods with this water are definitely being used to cool these rods down over here, which is what's going on. Why are those rods important? Well, those rods are important because eventually they need to be replaced. And where do you place these rods? You have to figure out somewhere for this radioactive material. A couple of years ago, there's an article that had come out about how Nevada has been used to bury these radioactive rods in the desert. After 9/11, there were also reports, a lot of Soviet Union nuclear bunkers. There's this fear that somehow Al Qaeda is going to get some of this radioactive material, place it in a bomb, and make some sort of dirty bomb. So it's definitely crucial to deal with these rods. This map here is just showing you the amount of nuclear power plants that were in existence in the United States. Not too many out here. It's 1977 blackout. Again, this is about powering a city. 1977, there was a blackout, and it led to riots. There's also one in 2003. This one was actually caused through a software malfunction, but just notice this area here, just going dark. I know you're thinking, well, how do we just transition from this to that? I'm just trying to get you to think about the importance of powering a city, because historically, the United States was on the path of building a lot of these nuclear power plants, and there probably would have been a lot more if it was not for the 3 Mile Island incident that occurred, which I'll address later on. This power grid here, if you had more nuclear power plants, it's possible that maybe one power plant could control this area, 2 and 3, and maybe the blackout would not have been so significant. Another image from the blackout, people panicking, trying to get out, just went dark. Here you have an image from the Chernobyl incident, which is in the Ukraine. The presenter is supposed to look at 3 disasters, and for the most part in these disasters, there's a valve that's misread, malfunctioning, and just the steam here really starting to act like a pressure cooker and just explode, which is what winds up happening in this particular image, and all of that radioactive material just let out in the air. This is an image of Pripyat, which was abandoned as a result of the Chernobyl incident. And this is a documentary about a cat. It's all about this cat going about his life and the radioactive wildlife because this place has just been abandoned. Little kitten. Hey, little Fluffy. All right, I'm done. We also talked about nuclear missiles. During the Cold War, the United States built numerous missile silos that would store nuclear missiles. A couple years ago, some of those things were sold off, and people bought them and converted them into homes, which is what you're looking at. This was a real estate listing for a abandoned missile silo that was converted into a home. Now we're going to get a little bit into the 3 Mile Island incident. 3 Mile Island, whenever you see these images or these structures, you're right next to a nuclear power plant. And the 3 Mile Island incident definitely puts the nail in the coffin for nuclear energy in the United States. Notice it was 79, so it's before Chernobyl.
Good evening. The people around Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and the 3 Mile Island nuclear plant were told they can sleep in their own homes tonight. There will be no evacuation of the area, though pregnant women and young children are still being advised to stay away. Engineers and scientists are working to solve the problems inside the containment building where the nuclear reactor core is overheated. But while a meltdown is still considered a possibility, officials say there is no imminent danger. The nation and much of the world has been watching as this nuclear nightmare unfolds in this plant on the Susquehanna River. In our report tonight, we'll tell you about the potential dangers at 3 Mile Island, how residents of the area are reacting, and what the crisis means for this country's energy policy.
That last point, that would be the end. Americans start to panic with regard to building these nuclear power plants. Now, write your summary. Here are my thoughts, the uses of this particular energy that I address, the debate that starts with the 3 Mile Island incident, and the role of water with regard to cooling, and the energy concerns that emerge. How are you going to provide energy?